Hello, Paul. How are we?
Good day. I am very good. Yeah, I've just been for a sports massage, which was the most painful thing I could describe. Bizarre, because I had to accept the pain as being evidence that it was having an impact.
Was this after your exertions last weekend? Did you need
Uh,
some recovery?
it was after having helped my daughter move flat and
Yes.
then having done the victory 5 mile in Portsmouth. And
Well,
I did something else. I did a long run yesterday. So yeah, it was quite excessive.
well, let's hope it does the job.
I
Gets you.
hope so. I hope so. How are you today? Are you in good form?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Yeah, good. On good form. On good form. Countdown to Christmas. So it's around the corner, isn't it?
Yes.
Trying to get everything ready for the kids and stuff. So yeah, it's all good fun.
Well, see, this is the difference because I'm seeing my daughters tomorrow, and we're going to exchange presents. I've already actually given one of them their present, but Christmas hasn't really started in my household. Uh,
Really,
I think the lights might go up on the weekend,
really.
maybe. Yes, I
Paul,
think so.
I'm ashamed to say we had ours up mid-November, but the kids, because they're so little, they just want to enjoy every single drop of it. So we're making as
Yes,
much as we can of it while we can.
yes,
But yeah, that is
lovely.
early. That is very
Yeah,
early.
it is. You've gone early. As in keeping with the commercial world, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah. And what about you? You've been busy, haven't you? Off gallivanting? Shall I say gallivanting around
Yes,
Europe, Belgium?
yes, I have been gallivanting Belgium, Brussels, which was marvelous. I mean, what a privilege to spend. It was 2 days really. I mean, there was travel days either side. One day with the Education in Commercial Communications institution. One day working with them, looking at how to grow the membership, engaging with the membership, looking at some really interesting content they're working on. And then the second day, fully focused on the Effies and
Yes.
the annual European Effies get together and the gala dinner as well. So yes, it was a lovely, well, it's kind of 3 days in total in Brussels. So
Exciting.
so great fun. Would you like me to give you the highlights?
I'd love you to give us the highlights. Give us the lowdown.
Where do I start? I mean, look, two things were notable to me. Because there's lots of brilliant stuff. One thing which I thought was really interesting, which is a bit of a disappointment, but for good reason, is there was no Grand Effie Award. So that is the pinnacle of the Effies Awards. It's the winner amongst the winners,
Mm.
essentially. And I think very bravely the jury and the jury lead stood up and said, "Look, we're not going to award an Effie this year. There's been some really strong entries, but we don't think any of them have quite got to the level
Oh, really?
which we would regard as being necessary to justify the award of a grand Effie."
Is that normal? Have they ever done that before?
Apparently, it has happened before. There is precedent,
Right.
and I say it's brave because you could imagine that's what the Effie's committee in principle would want. You'd want to
Mm.
have a winner every year so you could celebrate some amazing work in demonstrating effectiveness in marketing.
Yeah.
But if you award it just to award it, then of course it
Yeah.
risks devaluing the award itself. So
So
so yeah, very brave.
to give a bit of background to the FEs, Paul. So they're about effectiveness, right?
Yes. So when judging, so I was lucky enough to be on the jury for the sort of first round this year before it goes to the grand jury. And you're supplied with a lot of information about the campaign, including the creative, but you are asked to only review the creative once you've reviewed every other aspect of the campaign, the brief, the challenge, the solution, and so on. And you're not asked to judge the creative at all.
Interesting.
So it's essentially saying, were you clear about the commercial opportunity? Have you created a campaign that delivers against that? And did it actually deliver in improved
Mm.
outcomes in line with your objective. So it's a pretty high bar
Wow.
to get a bronze Effie, let alone a gold Effie, let alone a
Yeah.
grand Effie.
That differs to sort of Cannes Lion, doesn't it? Where it is really predominantly about the creative, right? So
It's
that
all about the creative.
it's
Yeah.
all about the creative. There's some you often see after that event in particular some debate around, especially recently, actually around the value of that in marketing. Actually, it's kind of looking at the piece on its own rather than actually what the job it did. Whereas the
Yes,
Effies feels like that's the one I'd want to win. I think is the one that's made the impact, right?
I think so. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think you could argue that the Cannes Lion might make an agency reputation,
Mm,
but the Effies would make a marketing team, including the agency, would make a marketing team reputation. And it's the Effie Awards that get unpicked by thought leaders in the industry to demonstrate work in progress. I mean, to give you an
yeah.
example, another thing that stood out for me was Guinness.
Yeah.
So Guinness have been successful at the Effies on many occasions, I believe,
Mm,
and really interesting. They've had 3 creative platforms in 30 years. So they had, I don't know if you remember these, they had Good Things Come to Those Who Wait.
yeah.
Getting these up on the board. Good Things Come to Those Who Wait. Guinness Made of More, which I think was the sort of platform when they did the horses in the surf and so on.
Well, that's one of my favourite ads of all time,
Yeah,
actually. Yeah.
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 And then they're now on to Lovely Day for a Guinness, which I think is relatively new. I think that must be in the last year or less. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure. But in 30 years, three creative platforms.
Interesting. So were they up this year for an award specifically?
I want to say no. I'm pretty sure no. I have to say it was quite hard to hear what was going on at the Effie Awards because we were right at the back. We were in the cheap seats, the cheap table, and the speaker system wasn't brilliant.
Fair enough.
More
Fair
about that in
enough.
a minute. So I don't think they were up for an award, but of course their Open Gate brewery opened
I
in Covent
saw that.
Garden.
That looks
Now,
that looks really
what
interesting.
what do you
Yeah.
think about that? I've got a strong point of view about that. Well, what do you think?
Do you know what? I haven't looked at it enough to have a kind of strong enough opinion. All I saw was it flash up on my screen, and I saw that they'd opened this brewery, and I thought, oh, that looks like a good place to go. That was kind of my instant reaction. But I'm interested to hear what you think.
Well, I think it might be a mistake, and
Really?
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I get proven wrong on the bonfire of marketing opinions. But my issue is around authenticity. They must have toyed around with this question,
Mm,
but how authentic is it to open up a Guinness brewery in Covent Garden?
yes.
As at the end of the day, I mean, they
When you're
do
based,
brew there, I think,
yeah,
which is good,
yeah,
but it's very clearly a tourist attraction
yeah.
as opposed to the Dublin experience, which is come and visit where we've always been and where we do brew the beer for Ireland.
So it's almost a bit like a Disneyland model. You kind of, it wasn't, Disneyland Paris. The characters weren't made in Paris, were they? But you've kind of shifted things over to London, so people can go and have a look and a mosey and buy some merch.
Yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
that's my worry. But then Disneyland Paris, I think, does pretty well.
yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
And
Yeah,
so I'm not knocking it. I'm just curious about the sort of logic that led to it. And I hope it is
yeah,
successful, and I hope I'm
yeah.
completely wrong. So, funny enough, I did chat to Irish person the weekend about it, and they thought, yeah, it's a bit odd, doesn't quite ring true.
It's interesting.
But maybe, as I say, maybe I'll be proven wrong.
It's a fine line, isn't it? It's a fine line to play, especially when then you're so deep rooted. I suppose your brand's so deep rooted in a particular area, especially beer, because it's all about the kind of essence of the brand, right? Like if you've got a Spanish beer, you expect it to be brewed in Spain, don't you? Or a particular region of Spain, or a wine, for instance, as well. So there are question marks, aren't there? But I suppose the power of Guinness. I don't know what you think, Paul, but it's probably as strong as it ever has ever been, right? Like there's not many places you don't see see Guinness these days, and
I think so.
it's seeped into
Yeah.
Netflix now. So
I
you know,
said, what's it doing in Netflix?
it's well, there's a show, isn't there, called House of Guinness, which is all I think fairly
Yes.
dramatised. I think it's all.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of fiction and a bit of fact mixed together, telling the story of Guinness
Yeah,
essentially.
and I think they've done a fantastic job with Guinness Zero. I think that's been brilliant. They've
Yeah.
legitimised non-alcoholic beer in a significant way. I just wonder whether this is going to be a net ad
Interesting.
for the brand. It's going to be very hard to measure that, but
We should
we shall
see.
see. But wish them every success. But I've got my doubts.
Interesting. We should see. And anything more from the Effies then? Was the actual? So you actually had this ceremony there, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so so in the afternoon it was sharing of best practice, morning and afternoon. Then in the evening it was the gala dinner. Anything else that came out from the Effies in particular? I think what was super was that EdCom ran the adventure competition, where they get students to work on a brief. And they worked on the brief for Tailors of Harrogate, so high-end tea. And it was wonderful to see a couple of students, I assume in their early 20s, presenting on stage super confidently and
Yeah.
presenting some really good thinking. They had the idea about let's make the experience of waiting for your tea to brew part of the pleasure of consuming hot drinks that way.
Nice.
And sort of worth the wait, I think, was the idea they came up with.
I
So,
like that.
put the tea bag in, wait 5 minutes, and that way you get the best quality brew. And it's really nicely done. And I thought, yeah, there's some marketeers of the future that have been on show there.
Great. Great. That's a nice way to wrap up the Effies, right? Nice way to
Yes,
wrap it up.
yes.
Should we talk about McDonald's and AI now?
Yeah, go tell me what you've been seeing on that. Yes.
So I think most people would have seen this. I think so. There was an advert that came out in the Netherlands, McDonald's in the Netherlands this week, which was basically a McDonald's ad which had been created using
Yes.
generative AI. So, and there was a backlash. So for those who haven't seen it, the ad is kind of playing on the riff of Christmas and having a terrible Christmas, basically, and it shows us lots of moments throughout with people going through moments where the Christmas trees are going out of windows and Santa's crashing into a car, the sort of the bad moments of Christmas essentially. But there was a lot of pushback about the kind of creepiness of the way that it was created using AI, because we all know when you create stuff using AI predominantly, there is a slight sort of uncanniness to the look, the feel of that. But there is this debate about actually, if you've got a bad ad, you've got a bad ad. And actually, was it just a bad ad, not anything to do with AI? Is it actually just not a very good ad? Were people
It
forgiving
was.
the AI?
It was a terrible ad. It was a terrible ad. It was. I mean, I looked at it. There's nothing to do with AI in my view. It
Yeah,
was just that idea of juxtaposing Christmas nightmares with the sort of joy of McDonald's.
yeah,
I just thought it was just pitched completely incorrectly,
yeah,
and it was never going to land. People don't really like that sort of negative humor.
yeah.
And somebody chose to blame AI, I think, to get out of the fact it was a really bad creative idea. And that was the problem with it.
And it's felt a bit like it just felt all a bit cobbled together, didn't it? Even the editing felt a bit slapdash, and it's bizarre. Do you know what I can't get my head around is that I always look McDonald's in the UK. I don't know what they do in the Netherlands that often. I don't see all the output in the Netherlands, but in the UK, their output of ads is pretty impressive. They're pretty high quality ads that they do, pretty effective. So it's bizarre that they've created this ad that's so bad, and I can't.
Yes.
The cynic of me can't help. They got a lot of news coverage from what happened in the week. I might be completely off on that, but it just
Well,
feels like they've got quite a lot out of it, haven't they? Actually, a lot,
maybe. I mean,
But
I think they got more out of it than if they'd run the ad. I mean, because
yeah,
I don't know the McDonald's positioning in detail, but there's got to be something about joy and happiness.
yes, true.
It's not called a Happy Meal by mistake. But
Yeah,
that ad was not about happiness. It was about cynicism
true.
and
It's off brand.
yeah, totally
Yeah,
off brand. And so
yeah.
that's why I reckon that's why it's pulled.
And so have you seen the Coca-Cola ad? to the
Yes.
trucks. They did it last year. They used AI using that, and there's some research done by System One where they kind of looked at the kind of emotional impact of that ad last year, and actually scored really highly. No one seemed to notice that it was made by AI, because you've seen that ad a million times, right? You've seen the trucks coming in, and actually they've just used AI to recreate that, essentially. So there's ways you can use it that makes sense, right? If you've got a good ad and you're just recreating that ad, and no one's really going to notice if you used AI at making that ad, then
No.
fine, right? But if you've
No.
got a bad ad, it's never going to work. Okay.
I agree, and I think
Yeah.
I shared with you some TUI stuff where they're using AI. It's
Yes.
happening all over the place,
Yeah.
and it can be great. I mean, but you've got to have the right idea. I don't think people are too worried about the execution
No.
per se using AI. It's if it's a bad ad, it's a bad ad.
Bad ad. So moving on from AI, you sent me something in the week, which I was trying to get my head around, actually, as I looked into it. It was the, what are they called? Loop earplugs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about this. So this I came across at the Effies. I actually missed the presentation, but I was told about it. And I don't know about you, but I dread going to large gatherings in bars and restaurants because you get this din.
Yes.
And it escalates. And as people speak more loudly to be heard over the din, and so other people speak more loudly, and it goes into this horrible spiral where you all you can do is lip read, and I'm not very very good at that.
I know exactly
And
what you mean.
it's awful, isn't it? Awful.
Yeah.
There are these things called loop earplugs, which are designed to cut out that bit of the noise, the background bit, so that you can then listen to the conversation.
Wow.
And I was told about these. I was told about these last Wednesday. I ordered a pair on the spot, or not quite on the spot. I had a quite a good AI-powered email exchange with their agent, which said exactly what do you want them for. Got them on Saturday, used them Saturday evening when I went to a Christmas dinner, and the jury's still out because it's hard to know what it would be like if I hadn't used them. But certainly in that dinner, I noticed that people were leaning in to listen, and I wasn't having to. So people were sort of, getting closer to hear what was being said. But I was able to maintain a sort of regular distance and still have a conversation. So I think they work. But the thing I was slightly confused by is I don't think the website, which is the primary means of communication, I think, does a brilliant job of explaining what they do.
I thought, do you know what? That's what was troubling me. I thought this sounds like it could be really great. Like the general premise, I could sort of gather, but it didn't really explain exactly what they did.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a weird setup. So I think they are brilliant, and they're designed for exactly the purpose I've described, amongst others. But they don't quite name it in a way that you go, "That's what I want. I'll buy them."
Yeah.
So that's why I've ignored them in the past until I was told about them last week.
And actually, I've had a glut of meta ads, as you do when you go on their website and you accept cookies since, and I don't think they actually get across. They're not doing that top end bit of the marketing as effectively as they could. I feel like the emotional bit that pulls you in felt like it wasn't really getting to the nub of what they do and how it could benefit you.
No, they need to call us in clearly, Warren, to advise them.
Bit of brand positioning there for you, Paul.
Yes, but I should say I have bought them. We're not getting in any way
endorsed
paid to say anything about them. And
other
the initial
are available, right?
Yeah, my initial experience is positive. So if they could get their marketing spot on, I would have got to that solution much more quickly.
They've got one of the P's right. They've got the good. It sounds like they've got a good product. It's the other bits, right. Need to nail. But they sound brilliant. Like, I could definitely do with that when I'm at an event. I struggle in those situations trying to hone in on people nearby. So I think they sound great. So we'll watch this space and see if they take off, right?
Now, one other thing I saw last week. Do you use the tube, Warren?
I do use the tube, yeah.
I don't use it a great deal because I usually cycle, but I used it at the weekend, and I hopefully we can flash this up. I spotted a Timothy Taylor's landlord beer ad,
Okay.
and it just caught my eye. It's two men stood at a table in a bar raising their pints. I'm looking at it now. One of them says, it's a poster ad in the Tube. One of the guys says, they say AI is going to take our jobs. And the other guy raises his glass and says, it'll never take our after work pint. It'll never take our after work pint. And then next to them is a sort of AI powered robot downing a pint. And I looked at it and I thought, targeting what must be a declining species, male London office workers.
Yeah.
I mean, are there any? I don't know. I mean,
Don't know.
that's times have changed.
Yeah.
Is this a growth segment? Contrast with Guinness Zero, and is the sort of unreconstructed salaryman really the sort of persona that you want to be associating with your brand? I just thought it seemed quite a strange approach.
Was it like the long dwell time ads that when you're on the stop when you're waiting for your train?
Yeah,
Because it
opposite
sounds
the
like there's a
platform.
lot of information going on in there.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just trying to get my head around it. I think it is a strange one, isn't it? It's a strange route and a strange bit of positioning to go down, and sounds like it takes a little bit of thinking as you go away. But yeah, very strange, that one. Very
Yeah, it
strange. I've
did.
not
It
seen that.
didn't. Yeah, I'll send you a copy, and,
Send it
and
around.
we'll stick it on the. We'll flash it on the screen. If can we do that? We can do that.
We can do that. Yeah, we can do
Yeah.
that. We'll get it. We'll get it on. We'll get it on the screen.
Yeah, yeah. So what's coming up, Warren? What's on the horizon?
Well, we're in that runtime, aren't we, to Christmas? So I think it's just trying to get through the next 2 weeks without getting ill again at the moment for me. So that's it, really. That's it. I'm getting myself ready for the new year, essentially. But yeah, nothing major coming up the next couple of weeks. Just keeping my ear to the ground on what's going on in the marketing world, really. What about you, Paul?
Yes. Well, more teaching preparation. It's a wonderful time of year because there's not too much that needs to be delivered straight away. All the Christmas deadlines have kind of been met, but I've got two big teaching assignments in January. I mentioned one last week, but both are kind of around brand positioning, and I've been doing lots of work around brand positioning, and I have an idea, a unified model of marketing strategy and planning, which is going to bring together things like the brand ladder, category entry points, Byron Sharp's laws of growth, the long and the short of it, segmentation, targeting, positioning. So watch this space. I think that's going to be.
Are you going to be the next Byron Sharp? Are you going to be the next?
Yes.
There's been
Yes.
and yeah.
Yes. I'm going to be like a sort of amalgamation of the best bits of Sutherland, Ritson, Burnett Field. No, it's basically drawing all their brilliant work together and saying, how can it all be part of the same, or can it all be part of the same approach to strategy and planning, as opposed to you have to be down this route or that route, which I think is a much more productive to pull it all together. Excellent. Well, I will run it past you because I'd love your thoughts on it. It's in development as we speak, and before Christmas, I'm going to get it to MVP, minimum viable product form, and I'll share it with you and a few others, and see what you think. And if it works, great, because it'll be of service to loads of people. Thank you. Oh, we're doing a Christmas week pod. How exciting! I'm open.